This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on February 10th, 2017. Our time is 8:42 Mountain. Our radio show runs on 6:30 CHED in Edmonton, Sunday afternoon at 3. The shows are archived on Harold's two websites. If you ever miss a show, HESradio.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. They're streaming there for you. We have a podcast through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. We go on any of your portable devices. We are there for you 24/7. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. 1-800-432-1022. Featured diamond of the week is a .44 carat oval cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink argyle. We'll talk more about that diamond in the second half of the show, and as well some of the excellent auction results from 2016. As we tape today's program, in Canada, we gained 48,800 jobs. The unemployment rate, 6.9 to 6.8. There was a surge in part-time jobs, 32,400 part-time jobs, full-time jobs, 15,800. Obviously, we want those full-time jobs in the United States. Last week, they had 227,000 new jobs. The unemployment rate, 4.8%. One of the things that came out this week, and it boosted the U.S. dollar, Donald Trump talked about a new tax plan in about 2 to 3 weeks. He was going to announce that, and that gave the U.S. dollar a nice boost throughout the week. And Harold, as we tape today's show, we have to congratulate you. I know you're flying on Cloud 9 still. Your New England Patriots, down at halftime, 21-3. Beginning of the third quarter, 28-3. They ended up winning 34-28 in overtime. Greatest game of all time, greatest Super Bowl of all time. Tom Brady, greatest quarterback. Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time. What an amazing, amazing game. Congratulations.
Thanks. I wish I could take credit for it, but I got to tell you, I'm their biggest fan, and it was one of the most exciting sporting events I've ever seen, and very, very happy it ended up that way. So all in all, it's all good, and markets this week were a little choppy. You know, the thing is that the financial markets like Donald Trump. The Dow is at record highs. It's hit record highs again today. So the fact is that they are bullish on Trump. It's just the things that he says and does and some of his policies that confuses the markets. That's why you're seeing this run up in gold at this point. You know, in actual fact, you're seeing gold running up slightly. It's not running away or anything, but it's, you know, it's up about $100 from the low that we saw at the end of 2016. You know, but the fact is that the U.S. dollar is still strong. So the U.S. dollar is above par, and we anticipate that the U.S. dollar is going to skyrocket. So at this point, the U.S. dollar is trading at par plus 75. So it's at, and it's been as high as 103 at the end of 2016. Again, a lot of the comments that Trump is making, you know, tends to change the markets on a day-to-day basis, but the trend for the market is the same. The fact is the U.S. dollar is going to be the strongest currency, and when you have a strong dollar, it's eventually going to push down the price of gold. So we're sticking with our same prediction. It's not that we want gold to go down. We just want you to understand that gold is going to drop due to the fact that the U.S. dollar is going to hit record highs. It's done this before. Back in 1990s, around 1998, 1999, the U.S. dollar was the strongest currency again at that point. In fact, it was trading at 110. For those that don't understand what I'm saying, you can call me during the week, and I'll explain all about the currency markets to you. But the U.S. dollar was trading above 110, and gold was at $250. So you can see the correlation. When the U.S. dollar is strong, gold is weak. Gold at 250, U.S. dollar at the strong highest level it was back in the 90s. Now, we saw something in the market. We saw that the U.S. dollar was going to start to come down dramatically, so we put out a buy recommendation for everybody to buy gold. And it turned out to be the biggest bull market in history. Gold went from $250 to $1,900 over a period of about 11 years. It was the biggest bull market ever for any market. And when it hit 1,900, where do you think the U.S. dollar was? It was all the way down at 72 cents. So that's what I'm talking about. When the U.S. dollar is strong, gold is weak. When the gold market is strong, the U.S. dollar is primarily weak. And that's what we saw, throughout that entire bull market. So what we're seeing right now is just confused markets. You're hearing, things happening in Washington. Obviously, in the first week that Trump was in office, he threatened Mexico, Australia, and Iran, all in one day. So the fact is the markets are going to react to that, but these are just short-term reactions to statements and policies that he's dealing with. The trend of the market is still exactly the same. The U.S. dollar is going to be the strongest currency. The U.S. or the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates at least 3 times in 2017. When you raise interest rates, it strengthens your dollar. And the fact is, with every other country lowering interest rates, like Canada is doing, it weakens their dollar. And what does it weaken it against? Against the strongest currency, which is the reserve currency, which is the U.S. dollar. So this is really a no-brainer. Even if you don't understand this, you've got to understand that if the Canadian dollar is going to plummet, which it will, and the U.S. dollar is going to skyrocket, which it is and will continue to do, you need to make some changes. You need to get some dollars out of Canadian dollars and put them into the U.S. dollar to make that money. We could see a 50% difference between the U.S. and the Canadian dollar, and that's something that I want to take advantage of. There's an opportunity to make a fortune of money here. We have private investments throughout my company that are all based in U.S. dollars. The thing is, if you're sitting in a retirement savings plan, which everybody tells you is such a great idea, well, how is it a great idea when nobody is making money in the retirement savings plans? Most people that I know have been in their plans for 10, 15, 20 years and have not made any return at all. So how in the world is a retirement savings plan going to help you in any way, shape, or form? See, the benefit with a retirement savings plan is that you're allowed to put away money now, not be taxed on it, invest that money in government-sponsored type of investments, mutual funds, stocks, things like that, with the hope that your investments are going to go up substantially over time. And then when you're ready to retire, you're going to liquidate your retirement savings plan, you're going to pay your taxes to the government, and then you're going to be able to live off of what you've saved. But the bottom line is that it doesn't work because the investment itself has not gone up in value. So nobody's going to be able to retire based on their retirement savings plan, and with interest rates below 1% at 0.5% right now and going to start to go negative, yes, negative, you're literally going to be paying the bank to hold your money. How crazy is that? That we've always gotten interest from the bank. There was times we used to get 20% interest back in the 80s. Now we're getting 0.5%. You're literally losing money by putting your money in the bank because you still have to pay taxes and you still have to deal with inflation. So the markets have changed, times have changed, and if you don't change and we don't change, then we're going to be prehistoric in these markets. We're never going to be able to have the quality of life that we deserve for working our entire life. And the fact is that, all of us that are in our 60s and 70s at this point that have tremendous work ethic, that have shown up every day and gone to work and taken care of our families with the hope that one day we're going to be able to relax and say, I've done a great job and I've taken care of my family and all of our expenses, and I got kids that are grown and grandkids and everything, and now I can step back and take a little break and maybe retire and spend time with my grandkids and things like that. That's not going to happen. Unless you get progressive, unless you go outside of the box and look at alternative investments, that's never going to happen because you're not going to make money in your retirement savings plan and you're not going to be able to retire with negative interest rates. So if you just sit back and let this continue to happen to you, you're going to find that your financial situation is going to deteriorate. I can help you with that. I've been in this business 35 years, and those that know me and listen to our radio show realize that this radio show has been on for pretty well going on 18 years now. We've done a good job. We've called some of the biggest bull markets in history, and a lot of people have made an awful lot of money with us. And now we need to take a step back, and we now have to look at the overall marketplace and say, what in the world are we going to do with negative interest rates and no money coming in from retirement savings plans, and things in Canada are getting tougher? We remember what happened in Brexit 3-4 months ago. The people that did nothing in Britain ended up losing 25% of their net worth in one day. In one day. If we sit there and let the Canadian dollar go down into this 62, 63 cent level where the U.S. dollar's going to be trading at 115, if we pass up on this opportunity, it's going to be criminal. We need to do something now. There's no reason in the world to sit back and let this pass you by when we could be making money in other areas. You know, the fact is that even though the Dow in the U.S. is up to over 20,000, it doesn't mean that anybody's really making money. If you're picking individual stocks, 90% of the people that trade lose money that way. So why in the world do we want to try to do that? Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's be smart about this, and let's look at other opportunities that pay us in U.S. dollars so we can accomplish what we originally set out to do, which is do well in business, take care of our families, and then hopefully one day be able to retire. If we don't do something now, those days are never, ever going to come. So, again, Randy, at this point here, there's no doubt that what's happening around the world is crazy. The currency markets are crazy. All the commodity markets are trading off of news coming out of Washington. The stock market's hitting record prices, but nobody really knows how to trade the stock market properly. We need to be smart about this. Give me a call. I speak to about 30 to 40 people a week from Canada that are my clients and friends that need help understanding what their opportunities are, what the options are, and how does this work. And again, I'll spend as much time with you as you need. You know, a lot of the clients will call up or listeners and say, Harold, I've been listening to you, for 10, 15 years now. First of all, I can't believe that you picked up the phone, which we always do. And number two, we care about our listeners and clients. We want us to get through these difficult times and to have a nice life. So give me a call during the week. I'll definitely explain to you how our alternative asset programs are working. They're being paid in U.S. dollars, which is phenomenal for our clients. Some of our clients are making over 25% a year, which, let's face it, is almost unheard of in this day and age, but that's what's happening with my company. So, again, Randy, at this point, the markets are choppy, but it's, because Trump is getting used to his new position. He says crazy things from time to time, but all in all, he is definitely a man of action, and he is definitely a man that's getting things done. So, he won fair and square. Let's see him do his job, and let's see how everything works out. But I'm optimistic for the future, and I think that if the markets are bullish on Donald Trump, we need to take advantage of that, and one of the major markets is the U.S. dollar.
I agree. Very interesting times. Donald Trump president, and it even gets better. Announced yesterday, we knew that George Clooney had always said he didn't want to get married. Well, he got married to a stunningly beautiful woman. Brilliant person, a lawyer. Now he always said, I don't want to have kids. Now he's expecting twins. So, hey, anything can happen in this world. Donald Trump president and a guy who said he never wanted to get married, never wanted to have kids, George Clooney, doing both. Yes, it's an interesting 2017 to say the least. Connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. Featured diamond, we'll talk more about it in the second half of the show. A 0.44 carat oval cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink argyle. See it online. RareColoredDiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. Some great quotes from a New York Times article featuring Seth Klarman. Seth, a lot of people believe is the equivalent to Warren Buffett, but does not put himself out there. Here are some great quotes from this article. You can read it in our free weekly newsletter, Connect with Harold. He'll be happy to send it out to you via email, free of charge every week. 1-800-432-1022. Seth Klarman, hedge fund manager, Bopos Group, said, "The erratic tendencies and overconfidence in his own wisdom and judgment that Donald Trump has demonstrated to date are inconsistent with strong leadership and sound decision-making." He also said President Trump may be able to temporarily hold off sweeping automation and globalization by cajoling companies to keep jobs at home, but bolstering inefficient and uncompetitive enterprises is likely to only temporarily stave off market forces. While they may be popular, the reason the United States long ago abandoned the protectionist trade policies is because they not only don't work, they're actually leaving society worse off. And in his final quote, the Trump tax cuts could drive government deficits considerably higher. The large 2001 Bush tax cuts, for example, fueled income inequality while triggering huge federal budget deficits. Rising interest rates alone would balloon the federal deficit because interest payments on the massive outstanding government debt would skyrocket from today's artificially low levels. That according to a man that many investors put up there with Warren Buffett, Seth Klarman. Also, the head of BlackRock, they're a financial firm, deal in hedge funds, investing. The CEO, Larry Fink, came out and said Wednesday that the U.S. economy is in the midst of a slowdown and financial markets could see a significant setback because of uncertainty over global trade and the Trump administration's plan to cut taxes. "I see a lot of dark shadows," he said at an event hosted by Yahoo. "The markets are probably ahead of themselves." Fink, whose company manages $5.1 trillion in assets, said investors are caught up in the potential of a restructuring of U.S. tax policy, which may not take place until 2018. Both disruptions to trade are a possibility in the meantime. We're living in a bipolar world right now. In my conversations with CEOs in Europe and CEOs in the United States, they may have been bullish about what may come, but most business people are not investing today. He added that he sees the U.S. Federal Reserve raising interest rates in June and possibly again a couple of times more in the year, and he warned that there could be tension between the Fed's dollar-boosting policies and those of Trump, as a strong dollar could make it harder to revive export-dependent manufacturers. But two very bright men talking about some of the complicated action-reaction situations the United States could potentially put itself in based on what they do and the reaction from the rest of the world and the financial markets. And Harold, it's one of the things that we have to look at very closely, and that is obviously we believe the U.S. dollar is going up substantially, and there is without a doubt that will happen. They're going to raise interest rates 3 times in the United States in 2017. They'll raise them more in 2018. Other countries around the world, including Canada, we're talking about possibly a static interest rate at 0.5 point or a cut, potentially, based on what's happening in the United States. And if you just do the math, pure and simple, the U.S. dollar will be going up and the Canadian dollar will be going down. And Harold, we have approximately 4 minutes left in our first segment, but now would be the time. Do not delay to get some Canadian dollars transferred into U.S. dollars and look at the programs that you have in place today to help people start making money and be paid in U.S. dollars, which will obviously get stronger over time.
You bet. Again, it's a matter of picking a trend. The trend is always your friend, and trends can last for a longer period of time. You know, in every trading situation, you have short-term traders, day traders, sometimes people that just look to get in and out of a market and pick up a few points here and there. What we've been successful doing is picking long-term trends where fortunes are made, and that's exactly what we're looking to do. Again, there's trends happening in certain diamonds now. We got a huge trend in blue diamonds, pink diamonds, and now green diamonds. On top of that, we've got the trend in the U.S. dollar, in the gold market, and in the oil market. So that's where the biggest moves are made. There's no doubt in my mind, and it's obvious because every other country is lowering interest rates, and the U.S. is going to raise interest rates. There's only one direction for the U.S. dollar to go, and it's up. It's going to be spotty. Nothing goes straight up, but the fact is the trend is your friend, and the trend for the U.S. dollar is substantially higher, and the trend for the Canadian dollar is substantially lower. If we know that that's what's going to happen and we don't take advantage of us, then shame on us. But again, at this point, we've already made the moves to get into this market. Most of my clients are already involved in U.S. dollars, but we still have time to get involved. So please give me a call next week. I'll explain how it works and see if we can help you get on the road to riches.
One of the things that Harold talked about at the beginning of the show was negative interest rates. And in the past, we've talked about negative interest rates, and in some countries, people not paying interest on their mortgages because they invested at a negative rate of return. Well, that has happened yet again. Interest-free mortgages come to Denmark. Will trouble follow? Investors pay Danes to finance mortgages in negative rate record. The land of negative rates, yet another record has been set. Danish mortgage refinancing auctions that started on Monday saw the cost of short-term funding drop further below zero than ever before. And that affected two of the biggest home finance institutes in Denmark. So here you have it. It's unbelievable, I know. Borrowers still need to pay additional fees to their banks to process the loans. The initial auction results show that investors are willing to pay Danish households more than ever before for the privilege of lending the money. But the kicker in all of this, remember now, they are not paying any interest on those loans for the mortgages. Just simply unbelievable. If you'd like to find out more, get our free weekly newsletter, Connect with Harold, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. And our featured diamond of the week this week is a .44 carat oval cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink argyle. We'll talk more about that diamond and obviously the diamond market in 2016, which was very, very strong when we come back for the second half of the show. But the question you need to answer for yourself, it's very hard to retire in the financial world we find ourselves in today. Obviously, everyone is worried about losing their retirement money due to another financial crash. Will we ever retire at interest rates at 0.5% or 1%? How do you invest today so you can retire tomorrow? That's why we do the radio show. That's why Harold is there to speak with you. He'll be happy to speak with you personally and privately. Everything is 100% confidential. And yes, he does take your call, and he's willing to speak with you. Connect with him, 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Going to come back and talk about diamonds in detail as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on February 10th, 2017. Our time is 9:07 Mountain. Radio show runs 6:30 CHED in Edmonton, Sunday afternoon at 3. If you ever miss a radio show, they're archived, running, and streaming 24/7 with Harold's HES Radio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Podcast as well. We know so many people love their podcast. This show is podcasted, and you can listen to it as you run or walk or just go about your daily life. People love to just walk around and listen to podcasts. Go to iTunes, type in The World Financial Report on Radio. We are podcasting right there. We go on your portable device. We go everywhere you do. But remember, connect with Harold, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. 1022. And yes, our featured diamond of the week. This is a beauty. A 0.44 carat oval cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink Argyle from the Argyle mine that produces 90 to 95% of the world's pink diamonds, going to be shutting down in approximately 3 years. Harold's New England Patriots won the Super Bowl. They will be getting a 5th Super Bowl ring. And Harold, you might want to put a call in. We've got some diamonds that they could potentially use in that monster Super Bowl ring they're all going to get. I'd love to see a beautiful diamond in there, a colored diamond in that ring.
It would look phenomenal, wouldn't it? It would just look amazing. Colored diamonds are just the most beautiful asset on earth, and they are priced in U.S. dollars. So, again, that's just another asset that could be sold in another currency. So the fact is that certain diamonds are extremely rare, mostly colored diamonds, but not all colored diamonds are collectible or investment quality. So the fact is that out of every 100,000 carats of diamonds that are mined, only one diamond will turn out to be colored. Let me just say, if that one diamond turned out to be a red diamond, you're talking about the most expensive diamond in the world, one of the rarest diamonds you'll ever see, and most people do not even know that diamonds come in red or blue or orange or green. You see, in order for a diamond to turn color, there has to be a certain mineral in the ground that will actually change the color of that diamond. So obviously most diamonds, or 99% of diamonds, are white. However, there are certain mines, like the Cullinan mine, for example, in Africa, where the most beautiful blue diamonds and rarest blue diamonds have come from. Now, it's not something that is mass-produced. You're talking maybe once every 4 or 5 years they'll discover a blue diamond out of the Cullinan mine. So if 99.99% of the diamonds that come out of that mine are white, but all of a sudden a little bit of boron creeps into the mine and changes a diamond to blue, do you realize that the price of that blue diamond, depending on how saturated and the size and cut of it when it's cut and polished, you could be looking at a diamond that is worth millions and millions of dollars a carat. In fact, blue diamonds have gone up so much in the past 10, 11 years. Back in 2005, at auction, we used to report that important blue vivid diamonds were selling for $200,000 a carat, in that range. Last couple of years, these same auctions have shown vivid blue diamonds of size, especially larger size, have sold in the $4 to $5 million range. We've talked about this so often that, diamonds are not a short-term investment. You don't buy them for a few years and then look to sell them. You're not going to make the type of money that you need to make. This is like a retirement savings plan. This is something that you put away, and this will go up in value. But it takes time for it to do it. It's not like stocks or commodities that trade on an exchange. It's something that is so rare, and the longer you own it and the more and keep it off the marketplace, the more and more and more these diamonds go up in value. There's been so many cases and so many stories about diamonds that have increased in value, and we've told many of them. My wife's girlfriend, who inherited a diamond from her grandmother, a 5-carat pink. The diamond was originally purchased 50 years ago for $50,000, but it's worth today about $5 million. That's not a bad return within somebody's lifestyle. With other diamonds, like the Shirley Temple diamond, that diamond went from $7,100 purchased in 1940 to $25 million that it sold for last year. So again, these are the assets that you want to put away to build wealth. These are the type of assets you want to put away for your kids and grandkids. When it's time to retire, if you don't need to cash in your diamonds, these are things that you hand down. Give it a chance for these diamonds to appreciate in value and make a lot of money. And the other thing is that they can be sold in other currencies. So we have a rare opportunity, something that really has never happened before and will never, ever happen again. And this is something that we should definitely take advantage of. Pink diamonds. Pink diamonds, 95% of them come from the Argyle mine. Now, don't think that it's a big number. It's a tiny number. at the Argyle Tender, which is the biggest diamond event each year, there's maybe 50 or 55 pink diamonds sold, and that's it. That's the Argyle Tender. So the fact is the Argyle mine in Western Australia is the largest producing diamond mine in the world, and they produce 95% of the pink diamonds. But this mine produces 30 million carats a year, 30 million. Almost all of those are low-grade industrial white diamonds that are used to cut other diamonds and used in diamonds, cutting and drills and things like that. But out of this mine where all that industrial-type diamonds comes the most beautiful pink diamonds on Earth. They're known, the Argyle mine is known for the pink diamonds. This is the most concentrated form of wealth on Earth. These are smaller diamonds. The diamonds that go to the tender are diamonds that are just over a half a carat to a carat, so you're not talking about large diamonds, but these diamonds can sell for an absolute fortune. So the fact is that the Argyle mine, which produces 95% of the pinks, is going to close within 3 years. It's been in operation since the 80s, and the mine just isn't producing anymore. So they're going to close it down. And if you're one of the fortunate few to own an Argyle pink diamond, you could make an awful lot of money, depending on the size, the color, how deep and saturated that pink is, and how long you hold on to it. Now, normally we tell our clients or suggest our clients hold on to diamonds for 10 or 20 years or more. But the fact is that this mine is going to close within 3 years. This is a rare opportunity that 95% of the pink diamonds in the world will be gone. We will not see hardly any more pink diamonds. So if we give this a couple of years for all the diamonds to run out, you're looking at in 5 years, we could see the price of diamonds, pink diamonds, especially Argyle pinks, skyrocket in price. And that's what my job is finding the next major trend for our investors to invest in. And there is no doubt that this is like economics 101. When demand for a product is high and the supplies are low, the prices go higher. And that's exactly what is happening with the Argyle pink marketplace. So we're ecstatic about this. Again, this is something that will never, ever happen again because there is no mine in existence that produces 95% of any given color diamond. This is a phenomenon that only the Argyle mine produces, and the fact is that we will never, ever get an opportunity to visit this again. For people that don't invest in Argyle pinks and sit back and find out what these diamonds have gone to a few years later, I actually compare it to somebody who plays the lottery, plays the same numbers every single week, and then the 1 week that you don't play your numbers come in. This is a similar situation. We know that the Argyle mine is closing. We know that they produce almost all the pink diamonds in the world, and there's not going to be any more of them. So why in the world would we not want to take advantage of that? I think it's an amazing opportunity. Again, they're sold in U.S. dollars at this point because my company, even though I'm Canadian, is located in the United States. I live in Florida. But the fact is that this is one of the best investments that we'll ever make. Just like blue diamonds that have gone up so substantially over the last 10 years, the next 5 to 10 years in pink diamonds will be the best that we've ever seen. So, again, we do have some amazing pink diamonds in our collections. They start in and around the $30,000 to $50,000 range and go up from there. But again, this is an asset that we could literally hit a home run with, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Speak with Harold about investing in hard assets. 1-800-432-1022. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. Wall Street Journal, we talked about this on past shows, had it in our free weekly newsletter. Demand soars for colored diamonds. And in that article, they had a chart, and it showed from January 2005 to September 30th, 2016, you had pink diamonds soaring in price and appreciating well above blue diamonds, all colored diamonds, yellow diamonds, and literally killed the S&P 500. And we'll be happy to send this chart out to you. It's the fancy colored diamond price index of diamonds in the S&P 500 stock index. and it definitely is an eye-opener. One of the other things that we want to send your way is an article that we had from a few weeks back, Is Jewelry the Last Brilliant Investment? And quoted in that article, Chris Delgado, a jewelry expert, jewelry is an investment. You can wear for 30 years, then sell. What else can you do that with? And they're talking about diamond jewelry, like the Shirley Temple diamond, a 9.54 carat fancy deep blue, purchased in 1940 for $7,210 and was sold, and it went up to auction. The estimate $25 to $35 million. It did not sell at auction. It was sold privately later, we found out, for over $25 million. So you can see the potentials of these markets. And we have two different articles this week in our free weekly newsletter, must-reads. Colored diamond hammer prices in 2016 show continuing appeal. And what they did in this article, they went through all the different colors and listed off the best auction results for each color. Pink, yellow, green, obviously blue. The year of 2016 was the year of blue. You can find all the details in this article. We'll send it out to you. As well, we have another article where they go through the top jewelry auction sales for 2016 in a more generic term. And one of the big ones was the Oppenheimer Blue, a 14.62 carat fancy vivid blue rectangular cut diamond, fetching a world record price for any jewel sold at auction, more than $58 million at Christie's Geneva Magnificent Jewel Sale in May. And one that really caught our attention because Harold is very, very bullish on green diamonds, the Aurora Green Diamond, a 5.03 carat rectangular cut fancy vivid green diamond within a circular cut pink diamond surround, sold for $16.8 million at Christie's Hong Kong Magnificent Jewel Sale in May. And the big sales are going to be kicking off here in the next few months. And I'm curious to see what blue is the big color for 2016. What is going to be the color for 2017? And Harold, with that Argyle mine starting to unwind over the next 3 years, and they probably will have a tender for a few years after that with a few diamonds that they have, but then they will be out at some point. Their vaults will be empty. It would not surprise me to see that pinks, which have done well already, may continue to build up steam in these auctions because the depletion rate is finally going to hit some people that are investors who've waited, and they cannot wait any longer.
Exactly. I agree with you, Randy. I think that the pinks are going to skyrocket when the reality hits everybody that the mine is going to close, and there's no other mines that are online. And even if they did, down the road found another mine that did produce pink diamonds, it would take 20 years for that to get online type of thing, or 15 years type of thing. So, again, at this point here, all of my clients that own pink diamonds, we've got 3 years till the mine closed down, give it a couple years for the diamonds to run out, and I think we're going to have one of the biggest paydays that we've ever seen. What Randy just said is true. I'm extremely bullish on green diamonds. I believe it's the next major trend. We're cutting a 19.5 carat green diamond, the largest green rough ever found, and that's a diamond that we're cutting and polishing that is going to be one of the rarest diamonds in the world. That particular diamond, it's almost 20 carats, but it's going to cut down to a 10-carat vivid, and the last vivid green that sold was in 2016, the Aurora Green. It was 5 carats, and it sold for $3 million a carat. It sold for $15 million. Ours is going to be a 10-carat vivid. So imagine what's happening in this marketplace. Is just so exciting to see what's happening. We also believe where greens are going to make a huge run-up, so are orange diamonds. So please get in touch with me. We have private collections that are just absolutely breathtaking that, again, will do nothing but increase your net worth over time. Please understand that buying diamonds is not a short-term thing. You don't buy it and sell it in 2, 3, 4 years. You're not going to make any money. You need to put this away for a longer period of time, give them an opportunity to get even more rare, and then we put them up at auction. Now, we have our own auction site. In fact, we're going to have our next auction either at the end of February, but it's probably going to be the first week of March. We've made some changes to our website. We're the only one that has a live virtual auction site. Means that people all around the world can actually attend our live auctions. But we are actually building another part to this auction site, which is an eBay type of site. You're going to find that our site is going to be spectacular in the way that we get to verbally describe every piece that's going up for sale. We're going to have magnificent coins, gold coins, silver coins, diamonds, rings, sapphires, just an amazing auction, and it's going to be phenomenal. I'm even considering putting up Elizabeth Taylor's brooch because, let's face it, how many people in this world could ever own something that Elizabeth Taylor owned? Do you realize that Elizabeth Taylor's estate, they had some of her lesser-priced items. They had a set of her earrings, and they estimated it would sell in and around the the 80 to 100,000 range, and it sold for $900,000. There was other pieces of hers that also sold for 10 times what they thought that these pieces were going to sell for. So, again, it's going to be a spectacular auction. We're going to have these every single month, and it's something that my company has that, we're developing because, again, it's a fairly new concept, and we're very excited about the future of auctions and diamonds. I think the timing is perfect.
Featured diamond of the week, a .44 carat oval cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink argyle. See it online, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Connect with Harold, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, or call 1-800-432-1022. And one diamond color that we don't talk a lot about, and Harold has had people invest in these diamonds. He's actually sold a number of them, but they are ultra, ultra rare, and that is the red diamond. Red diamond would be the rarest. Blue is obviously very close, but to give you an idea, the GIA, the Gemological Institute, says its laboratory did not see a single red diamond from 1957 to 1987. So this is the market that we're talking about. It's a very rare market, like art, nature's art. In fact, one of the stories that came out this week I thought was quite interesting. Oprah Winfrey has obviously undeniably good taste. And being a billionaire, she went out and picked up a Gustav Klimt painting, and it was sold for $87.9 million at Christie's auction house in 2016. The painting, Portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer II. Now, she has sold that painting in 2016 for $150 million. Original price, $87.9. And the painting was originally done in 1912 and depicts the wife of an industrialist and art patron in Vienna. But a lot of the smart money putting, obviously, their investing dollars to work in hard assets like diamonds, cars. We've seen handbags, watches, paintings. Very obviously unique real estate is another avenue. And when we hear about people in Denmark being lent money at a negative interest rate, they're actually not paying interest on a mortgage. It's not a surprise. You have people like Oprah Winfrey and others moving into rare, very, very rare paintings. And as that article touched on from the Wall Street Journal that we had a few weeks ago, the demand for colored diamonds, investors seeking higher returns, have moved into an area once the preserve of wealthy collectors, and the reason they're doing that is because of the financial markets that we have today. And the thing that we like about this market, Harold, it's the rarest of the rare, nature's art, and the new mines that are coming online, very, very, very scarce. And as you said, it takes 10, 15 years to get a mine up and going. And then at that point, people don't even know how long a mine will last. So we're talking about something that is beyond rare, and that's the beautiful aspect of investing in rare colored diamonds. Harold, we have about 5 minutes left in our segment here.
You bet. Again, we're in the alternative asset business. We don't sell stocks. We don't sell bonds. We don't deal in those type of markets at all. The paper asset markets are not our thing. We've done very well in predicting trends in metals and in oil and in currencies and in diamonds, and that's what we do. We stick to what we do best. But at this particular point, there's no doubt that it's extremely difficult to make money in today's marketplace. With interest rates below 1%, below 0.5%, soon going to go negative, it's going to change your life. And if you just sit there and let it happen to you without doing anything about it, then you're going to find your quality of life is going to go down, and that's just not it's just not the right thing to do. You know, we work so hard to take care of our families and do the best that we possibly can throughout our adult life. There has to be a time that we get a break, a time that we can one day say that we want to retire. The way things are right now with interest rates going negative and the stock market where 90% lose and nobody making money in retirement savings plans, we have a plan. We're in the alternative asset business. Our clients are making huge returns in U.S. dollars, and that will continue for a long time. And then on top of that, we have alternative asset programs that are priced in U.S. dollars that pay over 25% a year. So, again, if you are concerned about your future and you're just not doing it, we've got opportunities that can help you and help you retire. So give me a call. I'll take your call, and I'll speak to you for as long as it takes for you to understand what's happening in the financial markets and what your opportunities are. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it starts with my company. So give me a call, and again, we can show you how to get out of weak Canadian dollars into strong U.S. dollars and make over 25% a year.
Featured diamond of the week is a 0.44 carat oval cut, fancy vivid, purplish pink argyle. Harold has that as an investment idea. He has other investment ideas beyond just diamonds, featured diamonds, rare colored diamonds. But go take a look at this diamond, featured diamond of the week, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Connect with Harold at 1-800-432-1022. And as Canadians, we sit back and we realize here we are in an environment where the interest rate is a 0.5 point. And if you want it to be very conservative, if you want it to be ultra safe, sitting in a GIC, getting roughly 0.5 to 1%, is not going to cut it when it comes to retirement. You would need a lot of money to obviously sit back and collect interest on a GIC at 0.5% and retire comfortably. That is not going to be the case for most of us. And everyone is worried about losing their retirement money due to another financial crash. The question is, will we be able to retire? With low interest rates, central banks have really manipulated stocks, bonds, and real estate to a point where they're historically overvalued and could face a major correction at any time. And lots of financial questions today. So many people looking for answers. As Harold has always said, that's why we do the radio program. We let you know about things like Bill C-15. What does that mean for you as a Canadian investor? If you have not heard about Bill C-15, speak with Harold. Negative interest rates. What does that mean for us as Canadians? Weak Canadian dollar. Oil prices. Also, the housing market in Vancouver really starting to roll over. In Toronto, it remains strong. What about a cashless society? Everyone talking about a cashless society. Lots of questions. And Harold has been obviously involved in the financial world for many, many years, doing this radio show for a long, long time, making some wonderful calls over the years. Connect with him. He'll be happy to answer any of your questions. 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And one thing that is so important, the call obviously is free, but anything discussed is 100% confidential. And Harold has programs in place where you can start making money today. You're not going to be sitting in a GIC at 0.5%. As we've touched on before, using the rule of 72, at 1%, your money would double in 72 years. You will never retire. It's just that simple. You need to think out of the box, speak with Harold, and find out what ideas he has to help you get to where you need to go. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.